Cage fight. Looks like condors versus captors. But the captors in this contest are working to preserve the condors, not defeat them.
So the first bird is $5.99.
California condors are majestic birds. They have a wingspan of up to 9 feet. Watching them fly is a sight we almost missed. 30 years ago, they were on the verge of extinction. Only 23 were left in the entire country. Now, there are more than 400. Biologist Joseph Brandt and his team at the California Condor Recovery Program are the reason why. Today, they are working at the Bitter Creek National Wildlife Refuge on the edge of the Los Padres National Forest.
Hey man, how are ya?
Doing well, welcome.
You're Joseph.
Yeah, I'm Joseph.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, so welcome to Bitter Creek. We've got about 13 condors to handle today. So we're gonna get out there and do that. You know, the California condor in a lot of ways is an icon of the American wilderness. You know, it is really symbolic of the American West, you know, this very large bird. It's actually the largest bird in North America. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon of birds in a lot of ways, you know.
Do you have a favorite?
You know, dealing with endangered species, you know, a part of that is some of them die while out in the wild. So if I have a favorite, I'm not going to share it. I don't want to jinx it. Many of the condors do feel like they're either my little siblings or my children. I'm a dad. I've got a 6-year-old and 11-year-old already, and so
you must be a hit at career day.
Yeah, I have definitely. Some of these condors, I was in their nests when they were chicks, and now I'm seeing them, you know, become adults and starting to reproduce.
With those gigantic wingspans and those frightful faces, they look like something out of Game of Thrones. But what they lack in beauty, they more than make up for in personality.
Condors are really social and really a curious and inquisitive animal. So, you know, condors, when they feed in groups, and they also pick up a lot of information from each other when they're roosting in groups as well.
And as it turns out, they're also great parents.
By watching condors as parents, you see how caring they are. You know, they spend a lot of time with their chick. And so both the male and the female condor will take turns taking care of their chick and sitting on their egg.
Joseph Brandt isn't the only one who feels paternal about condors. Bird watchers and biologists come from all over the state to help care for them. The key to the condor's resurgence is constant monitoring of the nearly 250 birds in the wild. Ironically, in order to do that, biologists have to trick the birds into stopping in for a checkup.
And we trap the condors in this large flight pen that's behind us. And so now that the condors are in this flight pen, it allows some of our biologists to go in and actually, you know, get the condors in hand. And we do that, you know, much the way that you would, you know, catch a butterfly, but on a whole different scale. Molly has a really large net. She's going to try to flush the condors off of these perches, kind of down to where they're a little bit lower or closer to the ground, where she can net them essentially. And once she gets the condors in hand, then we'll bring them out.
The lure is a dead cow. Condors find the decaying flesh of dead animals quite yummy. And that's because they're scavengers. They feed on carrion.
You know, scavengers play a role as kind of nature's cleanup crew.
The trick here is arranging the morsels so that the birds walk right in.
You know, it's, you know, putting out the thing that condors like to eat, carrion, and then, you know, putting a little bit on the outside of the trap and some on the inside, and then you use kind of the social aspects of the condors as they feed to get some of those birds into the trap.
Yep, you're good. Yeah.
These health checks are stressful, and this one pees on me.
And then I might need some help just in adjusting.
I just got peed on by a condor. Once in a lifetime experience. I recommend it, absolutely. Even though the number of condors is increasing, they are still at risk.
Really, the problems that condors face are actually much easier to overcome than some of those other species, some of those other major iconic species, in part because there still is enough open space and food available for condors on the landscape. And the issues that we're dealing with are things that are very specific to a contaminant. We just need to eliminate that contaminant from the environment, and condors will be able to recover.
That contaminant is lead. The challenge of removing it centers around existing gun laws, specifically lead bullets used by hunters. These bullets fracture upon impact and contaminate any game left behind.
The problem is definitely not humans hunting, it's the use of lead ammunition.
Got it.
Hunting is providing a food source for condors. It's just a question of, is that food source contaminated or not?
Got it.
So there's often times where the condor program has been misconstrued as being, say, anti-hunting, that we don't want to see hunting occur on the landscape, and that's certainly not the case.
Lead poisoning is one of the many things biologists test for.
We'll take a blood sample and to test for a lead exposure, and then we'll also change out any transmitters that they have attached to them, because those transmitters allow us to track the condors as they fly about in the wild. And so that allows us to learn the habitat needs of a condor, where they're going and where they're spending time, and that's of course really important in being able to recover the population as well.
California has a partial ban on lead ammunition. The hope is there will be a full ban by 2019. Right now, lead ammunition is legal in the rest of the country. Desi Bennett is part of a new generation of bird enthusiasts working to keep condors thriving.
Just being able to see these condors up close and appreciate their magnificent size and beauty it's really special. They're one of my favorite birds.
What do you hope to see happen for the condor?
I just hope that lead becomes less and less of an issue with the ban, and that condors just continue to grow, and pretty soon they won't really need humans to intervene with them to keep their population steady.
I think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Over the last decade, since I've been a part of the condor program, there is this real, this recognition that we can save the species, and this is what we need to do. But I think in the end, we have a lot of hope for condors to be, self-sustaining in the future.